territory, and today, live, a new knife. It's my cheap knife challenge. I found this at Restaurant Depot, lasting cut, 10-inch chef knife. You can't believe it, $15, $15 for this thing. You hear some sizzle in the background. It is burrito day here. So at Appliance Factory, a couple times a year we make breakfast burritos for the hard-working men and women on the delivery team. They arrive here sometimes 4 a.m. to load the trucks, to get the appliances out to our customers. If you've ever tried moving a refrigerator by yourself, you know what a challenge that is. So our highly trained delivery specialists, two-man team, two-person team, they hand carry in the appliances, they haul out the old appliances, they're careful not to bang into doors or walls. They do a great job. I have unfortunately had many appliances delivered by the company I work for, Appliance Factory. You know, appliance is sometimes a spike purchase, right? Because you have, no one wants the refrigerator to break down. But that's life, right? So I'm going to straighten out this camera a little bit. And what are we going to do here? I'm waiting for the sound to dissipate a little bit so that I don't have to shout over the giant pot of sausage that I'm cooking. All right, so let's do a little chopping here with my cheap knife challenge. Okay, I'm gonna lower this tripod. I should have gotten this camera position dialed in before going live, but you know, this is that new live vertical format, and I thought I'd test it out. So that's what we're doing today. It's a snowy day here in Denver, and winter snow has closed many highways, which is, I don't know, I guess exciting, these spring storms that we get, because it's important for the watershed, of course. All right, so I've been testing out my new knife. I was at Restaurant Depot, which is a not open to the public restaurant supply store. You have to have a membership there. Memberships are free, but you have to have a commercial food service license to be able to get in there. I don't have a commercial food service license because I work for an appliance company, but I appealed. Their decision, was able to get a pass. I've been shopping there for many years through a variety of different restaurants, so they kind of knew me and they let me get a pass. So anyways, I was in there, I was doing some shopping, and I saw this knife. I've been looking for a cheap knife, $15, a cheap knife, to have in that I can leave in our showrooms. We have a new showroom down at the Denver Design Center, Monogram Appliances, and I'm shopping there a lot. Welcome if you're just tuning in. It's a cheap knife challenge. I've got my $15 lasting cut forged knife, and we're going to do some knife skills. Okay, so Denver Design Center, which is a beautiful area, kind of like almost like an indoor mall, and you have everything, high-end fixtures, lighting, carpets, flooring, and that's where we're at. We have a Monogram showroom in Tonal Floors, and we've been doing events there for our vendors and designer partners, and I'm able to keep quite a bit of equipment down there, so this is going to live down there. All right. Got a pepper here. Let's see how this knife does. Out of the box, it needed work. I had to sharpen it. I had to run it across the sharpening steel and a stone to get it to feel suitable. And it's better. It's better. One thing I don't like about this knife, again, keep in mind, $15 here. And I'm wearing a finger cut because, of course, I cut myself opening the blister pack. This job right here. See, here's the bolster, which I like, that snowplow. I'm a big fan of the snowplow. I like a forged knife. But see how the bolster is lower than the blade. So what ends up happening is there's a small gap, a millimeter or two, between the blade and the bolster. And the problem with that is things oftentimes stick together as you're cutting. If you've ever been cutting something and it all like stays stuck together, particularly scallions are really famous for having that happen. And it's kind of a pain in the neck when that happens. So No one wants that in their lives. It seems okay with a pepper. This knife is very lightweight. I will say, my digital scale has ceased to operate. But I would say compared to the Acero, which is around 10 ounces, I would bet this is about 7 ounces. And 3 ounces might not seem like a lot, but oh gosh, what is it, 25 grams per ounce? I mean, it's quite a bit when you have such a small tool. 3 ounces is a lot of weight. Of course, I'm cutting a pepper with the skin side down here. So what do I think of my $15 knife? I think it's okay. I don't love it. Do my initial impression. I like a knife with a tall belly. So let's compare that to my $5 Winco. This knife, wood handle, stamp knife. Marvelous. Marvelous. I love this knife. I bought this at Standard Restaurant Supply Store a few years ago. And honestly, in fact, I have a hole drilled in it because it was hanging on a hook in my garage. And I was using it as a utility knife to like open boxes and stuff. If you're just joining me, it's our cheap knife challenge, my $5 Winco. Anyways, I bought this knife, played around with it, just didn't love it. I think I was like, well, for $5, should I really pay this much attention or mind? Fast forward a couple of years, I was working at small culinary school, and all their knives are like little 6-inch and 8-inch knives. So I brought this in to use as my big, kind of intimidating, 12-inch chef knife, big chef, big knife, and I kind of fell in love with it. So even though I drilled a hole in it and the handle's falling apart and it's been through the dishwasher a million times, I just adore that knife. All right, I'm throwing these peppers into my big pot of sausage that we're cooking up for burrito day. Currently almost a foot of snow on the ground here in Denver. Okay, let's cut an onion. I got an onion. Okay, back to the $15 lasting forge knife. I got my $5 Winco. What else do I have here? I have my $20 Acero. And finally, my $50 Dexter, 12-inch Dexter. This is a commercial knife. These knives are designed to go in the dishwasher, dishwasher safe. These are all dishwasher safe. I put my knives in the dishwasher. I'd rather have a clean knife that's been sanitized through a machine via heat and chemicals, as opposed to hand washing anything. If you've ever hand washed a knife and cut yourself, you know how frustrating that can be. So my knives go in the dishwasher. All right, back to my lasting cut forged $15 chef knife. $5 for this knife is tremendous value, but it's very basic. It's stamped out of mild steel. It's sharpened and not that consistently. A wood handle's been riveted on, about as basic as you can get. Forged knife, a lot more metallurgy here. They actually have to put this into a press. They take a blank, they put it into a press. You get this bolster here, full tang. The what are these called? The wing. Somebody gave me a hard time for not using proper terminology. Blades. I don't know. The handle. I call it the handle. Why do we have to make things more complicated than they need to be? The handle gets riveted on. Full tang. You always hear people talking about full tang. I would consider this to be a full tang, even though it doesn't run all the way around the edge. This full tang, is oftentimes considered to be high quality. One thing I like to do with a knife is feel the bounce test, how much spring it has. And what that tells me, you can hear the difference here, right? What's interesting about this knife is as it's bouncing up and down, it's kind of skirting around the cutting board here compared to this knife. These Aceros are actually very high quality, although I don't love the shape of the handle. The shape of the handle is big and blocky, and there's literally a sharp edge here on the bolster and on the top. Whereas this new knife is all rounded off quite nicely, which I can appreciate. Okay. Let's dice this onion, and then we'll get back to work in earnest. Again, I'm just here trying out my new knife and also trying out the new vertical format for live on Facebook. I got a notification that this is a new thing, and I should try it out. So I was looking for an occasion to do so. Here we are. Okay. Nice. Okay, I'm starting to get used to it. I like the lightweight of this. That is quite nice. And it's sharp now that I've sharpened it. Doesn't have to be too neat. This is just going into breakfast burritos. So I'm not going to spend too much time making these. Perfect. One of my pet peeves is when somebody dices an onion and then goes through and randomly minces it. Like, why would you go to the trouble, in my mind, why would you go to the trouble to dice something nicely and then also randomly cut it? If you want something smaller, I always say just do more work. So if I wanted this onion smaller, I can make additional cross cuts. Let me see if I can sneak one in there. Good. So then do more work, which I'm doing right now, and this onion will be smaller. Don't rely on the mince cut to determine the size of your cut. If you want to get to this end here, sometimes what I'm doing, if I'm looking for to really get all of the onions, I'll go back through and I'll make additional full cuts so I really can get in there. There we go. It's pretty consistent. Breakfast burritos, good enough. Okay, so if you're just joining me here, reviewing our new $15 knife, and I'm comparing it to my $5 Winco, the $15 Lasting Cut forge knife that I picked up at Restaurant Depot yesterday. And I'm experimenting with Facebook Live in a vertical format. Okay, so I'm going to throw this in with my breakfast burritos. What do I think of the Lasting Cut forge knife? For $15, it's a winner. I really love it. But if this were a $50 knife or a $100 knife, it would be disappointing to pull a knife out of the box and need to put an edge on it. The factory edge should be perfect, in my opinion, and it's not. It needed some work. I have concern about the end of the knife here, the bolster protruding below the blade. That's a problem. Things I do like. I love the shape of the handle. The handle is nicely rounded. It's got an organic feel. It's really just a joy to hold. It's very, very lightweight. Gosh, for $15, it's more than I could ever ask for. Okay, well, I guess that's it. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. Facebook Live, I'm a little crooked here. Facebook Live, a vertical format, cheap knife challenge. I've got some more videos coming out on the cheap knife challenge. If you have a cheap knife that you love, let me know in the comments. I'd love to know, what am I missing out there? Because I think that knife being the most important tool in the toolbox in a kitchen, don't spend too much money. Remember, they're tools, not jewels. This is Chef Mark. Thanks for joining me on YouTube Live. Catch you next time.